coming off one of the most mainstream publicized events of the generation produced by the competition. The WWF attempted to also capitalize on WCW's star power by promoting a SummerSlam Highlights TV special with commercials airing on the USA Network all week, billing the WCW stars as the top names in the commercial, with Hogan, Savage, Flair, Warrior, Piper, Hall, Nash and Hennig all featured on the spot. The show, which aired on the night at 10 p.m. immediately following Nitro and Draw, drew a massive 3.8 rating, with the show peaking in the first quarter between 10 to 10:15 with a Big 4 rating, indicating many of the WCW audience switched over based on the advertisement, with the peak segment featuring highlights from the early SummerSlam events with Hogan, Savage and Warrior as the main focal point. After the Canadian crowds over the last week, coincidentally the location booked by the company months in advance for the follow-up couldn't have been better, with the Hart Foundation opening Raw to the complete opposite reaction to major heel heat, coming from the home state of its two biggest rivals on and off-screen, and Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels at San Antonio, Texas. Each member of the Harts announced a stipulation for the SummerSlam matches to up the stakes, adding interest to the pay-per-view matches and potentially to higher-rated segments the next night on Raw. Steve Austin then came out to a big reaction along with Shamrock, Patriot in his Raw debut, Cena in his first appearance since the car accident, and finally Shawn Michaels for his first TV appearance since June 2. Coming off an hyped Bash at the Beach pay-per-view, WCW put another stamp on them as the #1 company in the industry, with huge mainstream coverage for Dennis Rodman's first wrestling match alongside Hollywood Hogan against Lex Luger and Giant. While Rodman's charisma and athleticism were clear as one of the top athletes in the NBA, Rodman's execution, selling and crowd work popped the building in a performance and match surpassed all expectations, with highlights of it shown on every sports news and entertainment program over the last 24 hours. Following up the major hype with the show opening with its biggest first quarter since April, WCW started with Michael Buffer in the ring introducing the Nitro Girls making their TV debut, along with Giant taking out the entire security team challenging Nash for tonight. Raw jumped back to a more normal viewership in the second quarter, picking up around 500,000 viewers for the first father and son tag team match, with Hall of Fame Ivan Putski making his in-ring return alongside Scott after being called out by Lawler for weeks, going 5 minutes against Jerry and Bryan, with Ivan pinning King to win the match. At the same time on TNT, it was another family clash with the Guerrero vs Guerrero match, as Eddie and Chavo went 4 minutes with Eddie going over, bringing out Hector to the ring. Moments later Page came out for the follow-up promo after Curt Hennig turned heel to cost him the match against Hall and Savage, saying that his first choices were Sting, Luger and Giant, and now he's coming after Hennig. With Undertaker again off the show, Paul Bearer continued to push the storyline, promising to prove that Kane is alive next week, hyping the first confrontation between Kane and Taker. After impressive performances in the last 2 weeks, Raw featured another match from the light heavyweight division, with Taka going against Tajiri. WCW jumped over 500,000 viewers to a 3.5 rating at 9:30, with the Steiner brothers vs the NWO Buff Bagwell and Scott Norton, going 7 minutes to a DQ after interferences from Chono and Muta, with the Steiners clearing the ring, starting the build to one of the most hyped tag matches of the year against the Outsiders after going through every tag team in the company. Raw picked up around 400,000 viewers to a first-hour high 2.7 rating, featuring a headbangers against Miguel and Jose tag match ending with a three-group brawl with the DOA, Patriots backstage interview saying that he's coming to take out the Hart Foundation as a potential opponent for Bret, and Shawn Michaels making his entrance for the in-ring interview with Vince a few minutes from the top of the hour. WCW also picked up to a first-hour peak 3.6 rating for Chris Benoit vs Enos, and La Parka coming out and being attacked by Randy Savage after another tease that it was again Page in the costume, bringing out Page for the save before Hennig laid him out from behind, with Hennig in his response promo right after calling Page the biggest mark in the business, saying that he can't hang with him for 30 seconds. Shawn Michaels' first promo since the Bret Hart shoot fight was next, and like Bret a few weeks earlier, didn't acknowledge it on air. Michaels said that he's still not 100% but he can still go tonight to leave the door open for him still being Austin's partner later. Saying that he was sitting at home for weeks hearing Bret talk including the title match stipulation, telling McMahon that he wanted to kick him out of the country for years and asking Vince for a role at SummerSlam. Michaels sarcastically begged McMahon to allow him to be part of the show despite the terrible employee he has been, as Vince laughed to close this segment. Moments later Savio Vega called the cameras to the back showing them breaking a DOA motorcycle, with the Michaels promo and the parking lot brawl bumping Raw to a 2.8 rating. The NWO came out a few minutes after the top of the hour with Nash in a wheelchair, in an angle to get out of accepting Giant's challenge. Nash said that he will never attack another person from behind, referring to him coming out last night under the Sting mask to take out Giant with a baseball bat. Nash then introduced Konnan, revealing an NWO shirt with him officially joining the group. Next on Raw was Shamrock vs Neidhart going 5 minutes, ending up with the Patriot coming out in his Raw debut for the save against the Hart Foundation, while WCW jumped over 700,000 viewers for Scott Hall and Syxx against Harlem Heat in a match originally set to be with Nash, going 9 minutes peaking the night with a 4 rating. As Nash suddenly stood up to attack Booker from behind with Hall going over with the Outsider's Ed. With talks of Raw's time slot changing or potentially even moving from Monday nights going on for the last few months, due to the USA Network announcing that the newly bought Walker Texas Ranger TV series will air from 8 to 9 p.m. during Raw's current first-hour slot, in a new channel scheduling starting August 4th, putting questions on the future of Raw on USA, with the most likely scenario talked about is Raw moving an hour later from 9 to 11. Meaning getting the second hour unopposed to potentially draw a big consistent audience when WCW goes off the air. A big test for that will happen next Monday night, as for 1 week only WCW will air on Tuesday, giving Raw a free shot to let viewers sample the product going unopposed. Meanwhile, on WCW's side, talks are already going on to counter it, either with a new show or a third hour of Nitro from 8 to 11. After breaking its record almost weekly in the last month and getting closer to the live Raw audience, WCW's Nitro replay set another all-time record on the night, drawing a 2.2 rating. After over a month of build-up between Austin's partner revealing the tag titles tournament, Steve Austin came out alone for the match to take on Owen and Bulldog in the main event. A few minutes into the match, someone was walking towards the ring as a cliffhanger just before the final commercial break, eventually revealed to be Mick Foley, debuting his home video character DudeLove on TV, ending up with Austin and Foley teaming up to retain the tag titles. The match, which went over 10 minutes in the final quarter including the DudeLove debut promo, gained over 800,000 viewers to a show peak 3.3 rating, Raw's highest rated segment in over a month. WCW's final quarter saw Flair vs Jarrett going 6 minutes in the first match between them since Flair kicked Jarrett out of the Horsemen, coming a day after Debra turned on Mongo to join Jarrett, along with Piper going over Flair on the pay-per-view. Eventually ending with Mongo and Benoit to attack Jarrett and throw him out of the ring. Moments after that, a few minutes from 11, Lex Luger came out for the main event promo after a major career highlight last night, with the video and pictures of him putting Rodman in the rack to win the match, making every major channel and publication, with Luger also on a media tour during the week with him at the peak of his popularity as the top active babyface in the company. Luger said that last night was one of the most memorable nights of his career, while telling Rodman to stick to basketball. Luger then went over to Hogan, challenging him to a title match at the Road Wild pay-per-view, bringing out the entire NWO before what looked to be another fake Sting walk to the ring, ending up with him revealed as the real Sting under the mask to close the show. The combined audience on the night was at record levels, with both shows picking up, as Raw drew a 2.6 rating, while WCW drew its highest rating since April with a 3.6.